This video has absolutely nothing to do with the airstrip that you're looking at. It's Bugalaga Airstrip, Whiskey X-Ray 53. It's default Microsoft Flight Simulator and got a makeover at one of the world updates as part of a discovery or challenge. And it's an absolute cracker. Go and look it up. If there's a little bit of bush pilot in you, well, this is going to be heaven. For this video we could be in any aircraft, but I've chosen a mod on the Cessna 172. It's the Bagaloo Bush Kit, and it's available from flightsim.to. With its Tundra tyres, it's a perfect match for this airport. So I've told you what this video isn't about, so just exactly what are we looking at today? Well, I was watching a recent video from the amazing Q8 pilot. If you don't know who he is, well, where have you been? Links to his channel in the video description below. And he brought to my attention an application, an add-on, that I just had to show you, as I believe it adds something unique and something that's missing from Microsoft Flight Simulator and really helps to increase the level of immersion. It's FSRealistic. Welcome to the SimHanger, my name's Mark, thanks for watching and let's get started. FSRealistic have a bucket load of camera and sound options that can change your experience in the sim. FSRealistic Pro version 2 has just been released, available from a host of different retailers. The download has an installer, it comes with a comprehensive manual, that's more than enough to get you up and running. And if you bought the previous version for Microsoft Flight Simulator, there's a hefty discount. But here's the kicker. The developer, RK Apps, give you the option to try before you buy for 7 days. And this is not a scaled down version, this is the full application with all the bells and whistles. The cost varies depending where you buy it from, but you're going to be in and around US $30. Nothing worse than noisy passengers. If they just pipe down for a minute, I'll be able to get a word in edgeways. Yes, cockpit ambience is one of the features of this package, but there's a whole lot more. Let's take a look. The program runs outside the sim, but can be started before or after you start the sim. PC only at this stage. On the right hand side of the menu are all the main actions we can adjust. The left hand side of the menu is where we can adjust the parameters for the action selected. I'm on cabin ambience, small cabin. Here I can adjust the volume. I think I'll turn it off. Oh, bless you. I think that was the co-pilot. We could, for example, change to the big cabin sounds. And you can then select either to leave it as random, or alternatively you could select from one of the presets depending on what was your preference. If a parameter is all the way to the left, it's off, and if all the way to the right, it's on. Will affect the sound as well as the frequency. We'll come back to these options just now and look at some of the options that affect the airframe. There's a profile tab and it automatically picks up what aircraft you're using, a master switch to switch FSRealistic on or off. You can reset everything to default, and for the aircraft that you're flying in you can link that profile to any of the other profiles that you have. Select the profile, click link and you're done. Alternatively you can copy from any profile. And one fairly neat feature is you can go online via the cloud and look for any existing profiles which you can copy and import into your app. The setting tabs are fairly self-explanatory. Change the overall volume, auto start and auto minimize on application start. And if you're using the trial, you can then decide to buy and activate it if you decide it's for you. The About tab provides links to their website, to the manual, the forum and so on. A blue dot next to the item means it's active. Cabin ambience is off. Let's turn that on. And once an item is on, you get an option to preview the sounds or effects to help you make your selection and fine-tune it just the way you want it. Let's stay with the sounds for a moment and we'll choose clear prop, female voice,
Clear prop.
preview. Let's try one more.
Clear prop.
Goodness, that does sound a little bit like my wife. Let's select blade slapping for a helicopter. And last one on sound before we move on to the frame. I can't resist this one, crash screaming.
No!
Sounds like one of my regular passengers. Let's have a quick look at engine start and the parameters. We can adjust the sound and the amount of cockpit movement when we start the engine. So I'll move movement all the way up to 100%. Now cut the engine and let's do a restart.
Clear prop.
Well, you could see there was an exaggerated huge amount of movement there. Let's now adjust this parameter down and then we can try it again. From 100 I've selected 22. I'll also adjust the sound but leave the engine movement at 6.
Clear
But
prop.
all these items are fully adjustable. I think you'll agree that was far more realistic. The number of parameters you can adjust are huge, from flaps and gear, touchdown, weather such as turbulence, wind, sound on ground roll, as well as movement, and G-forces as well. I'm not going to cover these all in detail because there's a free trial. Go and give it an experiment yourself. For now, let's get this bird up in the sky. Notice my head movements are far more realistic. Watch the vibration, it's so immersive. The sounds are great too. I'm effectively using a default aircraft with a mod. That takeoff and camera shake just made the whole thing far more realistic. It's a little bit turbulent and you can see that by the camera moving up and down. But it's not that turbulent. I think I need to adjust it. And that's the beauty of FSRealistic. You can make these adjustments on the fly. Back to my menu, turbulence. I'm going to turn the movement right down. If I move it up, you can see the exaggerated amount of movement that takes place. Not realistic in this amount of turbulence. There we go, I think that's something more realistic. So you can tailor your preferences to each aircraft. It does come with a number of presets such as an airliner, small GA and so on. And any aircraft, default or third party, it will allocate to one of the categories. And you can then adjust from there, using the link or copy function to make changes. Now I've turned the sound up more than I would normally, but just listen to these wind sounds. Hear that stall stick shaker kick in? Yes, I know you want to hear the passenger scream, but I'm going to leave that for you.
Retard.
We're down. That was close.
What are you talking about? That's one of my best landings so far. So that's FSRealistic, and it should be available for sale by the time this video is published, if not before. If you're not sure it's for you, well, you've got nothing to risk with a 7-day trial. You don't even need to register. Link in the notes below. It is VR compatible, although I've only personally tested it out in an airliner, and I didn't have any issues. They do say that VR implementation is beta. It's track IR compatible, and whilst my tests are not complete, it seems to work with all third-party aircraft at this time, as well as default. Doesn't seem to affect my FPS in any way, including in VR. And I haven't tested it with the butt kicker yet, but I certainly will be doing that. It seems to be optimized for this device. And so, what are my views? When I saw the review, I was very excited to try this out, but less so when I saw the price. I'm currently taking advantage of the 7-day trial, so I've had an opportunity to try it with and without FSRealistic. And when I went back to default, well, I was quite shocked. So will I be buying it? Yes, I will. This program adds those little things, the little touches, that to me, well, it makes all the difference. Thanks for joining me today. Look after yourselves. I'll catch you on the next one. And bye for now.